Hey everyone, I'm P.
And I'm T.
Talking about online safety can feel like a really heavy topic, but we want to change that.
Our goal today isn't to scare anyone, it's actually the opposite. We're here to give you, both teens and parents, a really clear, simple guide so you can feel confident and safe online. So let's get into it.
So here's our game plan for today. We're going to start by busting a big myth about what online danger even looks like. Then, we'll walk you through the actual playbook predators use. We'll get real about sextortion, lay out some simple safety rules, and then, most importantly, talk about exactly how to get help and take back control. Think of it as your roadmap to feeling powerful online. All right, let's kick this off. And teens, this part is really for you. When you hear online danger, I bet your mind goes to some super creepy person sending weird, obvious messages, right? But here's the thing, that's almost never how it actually goes down. The real danger looks and feels completely different. And this right here is the biggest difference. The myth is that it's this one obvious, easy-to-spot moment. But the reality? It's slow. It's sneaky. Predators don't show up looking like monsters. They show up looking like friends. They'll spend weeks, sometimes even months, just chatting and building a connection, making you feel understood. That way, when things start to get weird, it's a lot harder to see the red flags. And you might think this is something rare, that it only happens to other people. But the truth is, about 1 in every 5 teenagers gets an unwanted sexual message online each year. That's a huge number. So if this has happened to you or to one of your friends, please know, you are so far from being alone. It's a massive issue, and that's exactly why we need to talk about how to spot it. Okay, so how does someone go from being a cool online friend to someone dangerous? Well, it's not random. There's a strategy. It's a process called grooming, and we're basically going to show you the predator's playbook, page by page. By understanding how it works, we take away its power. It's a totally fair question, right? Because it's confusing when the friendship and the connection feel so real. And that's the most powerful part of the trap. They make it feel genuine. But trust me, understanding the steps they follow, that's the #1 way to make sure you can see it coming and shut it down. Let's look at the stages. It all starts with target selection. They're looking for someone specific. Then comes initial contact, which is always designed to seem totally normal, like a friend request or a DM.
Right, and from your perspective, the next 2 stages, trust building and filling a need, just feel great. It feels like you finally found someone who really gets you.
Exactly. But then that feeling is twisted. They use that trust to isolate you. Then desensitization starts to push boundaries, a little at a time, until exploitation seems possible. Every single step is a setup for the next one. And that first step, target selection, this is so important. Think of your public social media profile as a resume that predators are reading. They're looking for your school, your hobbies. Maybe you posted that you're feeling lonely or got in a fight with your parents. They use every little detail to figure out the perfect way to approach you. This is why making your accounts private is your best first defense. And check out this list. This stuff isn't happening on some sketchy, dark part of the internet. It's happening right where you are, every single day. It's in your Instagram DMs, on your Discord server, in the chat while you're playing a game. They don't wait for you to find them. They go where you are. And this brings us to what is often the end game for this whole grooming process, something called sextortion. This is the moment that all the trust they built, all those friendly conversations, get turned into a weapon to blackmail you. It's a terrifying thing to go through, but it's a specific crime, and knowing what it is critical. Let's be crystal clear here. Sextortion is a crime, period. If this happens to you, the person blackmailing you is the criminal. You are the victim. End of story. It is never, ever your fault. When this is happening, your brain just goes into overdrive. You feel that hot panic, that deep shame, and you are absolutely terrified of anyone finding out. I want you to look at this list because this is exactly what the blackmailer is counting on. They want you to be ashamed. They want you to be silent. Your fear is their power. We need you to hear this loud and clear. Paying them will not make it stop. In fact, it guarantees that it will get worse. When you pay, you're just proving to them that their tactic works. There's no such thing as a final payment. The demands will just escalate and you'll be in a worse position, not a better one. Okay, we've talked a lot about the problem. Now let's switch gears and talk about the solution. It's time to talk about prevention. Think of these as your personal rules of the road for the internet. They're simple, they're practical, and they put you back in control. This first one is your digital shield. Seriously, think about it. If someone online doesn't know what school you go to, what neighborhood you live in, or your phone number, it is so much harder for them to threaten you in a believable way. Keeping that basic info private is a super simple but incredibly powerful defense. You hear a lot about disappearing photos and messages, right? Well, that's kind of a myth. All it takes is a screenshot, and that disappearing photo is permanent. So here's a really simple test. Before you hit send on any image, just ask yourself this one question. Am I okay with literally everyone seeing this? If the answer is even a little bit no, then just don't send it. Okay, this one is a giant flashing neon red flag. A healthy relationship with an adult, whether it's a teacher, a coach, whoever, it doesn't need secrets from your parents. If an adult ever says to you, don't tell your parents, or this is just our secret, they are not trying to protect you. They're protecting themselves. Full stop. All right, now for the most important part. What do you do if something has already gone wrong? We want you to know that you are not stuck. There is a very clear plan you can follow to get help, and you do not have to do it alone. Help is there. Okay, if you are in this situation, here are your 4 steps. Listen closely. Number 1, your first instinct is going to be to delete everything. Don't. I know it's hard, but those messages are evidence. Screenshot everything. Step 2 is the hardest, but it is the most critical. Tell an adult you trust. And parents, this is for you. We call it the no questions tonight rule. If your kids come to you, your only job is to listen, hug them, and tell them you'll handle it together. The lectures and questions can wait. Their safety can't. After that, you report everything together. And I want to speak directly to the guys for a second. This happens to you just as much as it happens to girls, but you are way less likely to report it. That shame they make you feel, that's what they're banking on. Let me be really clear. Telling an adult is not a sign of weakness. It is an act of incredible strength. You're not alone in this, and you will be believed. Let's just end on this, because if you only remember one thing from our entire conversation, please let it be this. I'm going to say it one more time. You are the victim. You are not the criminal. You will not be in trouble for being tricked or for being blackmailed. The only goal is getting you safe. That's it. Look, the whole reason we walked through this today was to show you their game plan. These people use the same tactics over and over because they rely on you not knowing what they're doing. But now you do know. You are smarter than their tactics. And that knowledge, that's your power. That is your protection. Stay safe out there.